Hello, welcome to Sunday service. This is my guide for how to plan your weeks. This is how to plan your whole life. This is how you plan your life, your business, kids, date nights, self-care, finances, all the things in less than 30 minutes, really maybe an hour if you do all the categories at once. And I have created a complete guide for exactly what to do for your own Sunday service every single week. This is what I live by. It's what I swear by so that I can plan my weeks with kids at home, running businesses, my husband's job, all the things. And it makes it really, really easy. I talked about this on social media a couple weeks ago, and all of you wanted to know how. You wanted all the details. So I created a complete guide just for you so you can use this. So I'll have it linked down below. Well, let's go through the guide. As you guys see me, it's Sunday. So I am no hair, no makeup, fresh out of the shower, just doing my Sunday ritual. So I'm not fancy for you guys today. Before we jump in, if you've never heard of me, seen me before, my name's Tay. I own Breadwinner Energy. I'm a certified life and business coach. And I went from $100 to my name, being on WIC, 7 months pregnant in 2016, to starting my first ever business, and then going on to create two multi-six-figure businesses as an agency owner, virtual assistant, and OBM for wedding professionals, and now a six-figure coach. And now I have two kids at home. I work 10-hour weeks as a coach. So in this guide, I help you plan out all of the things. So first we're going to set up your week and then we'll talk about your business as we go through this. But what we do is we sit down, my husband and I, on Sundays. So for you, I would challenge you to pick a day, whatever day works best for you, and block out an entire hour on your calendar to go through this guide. Sometimes I will do all of mine together, meaning like me and my husband's meeting, my business meeting, finances, or I will just do our meetings together on Sundays and then do my own on Mondays. Regardless, however you want to do it, pick when you're going to do it and put it on your calendar every single week and actually sit down and do it. And I swear it will change your life. And then we'll set up your weeks in your business. So then I do the exact same thing. Like I said, either Sundays or Mondays. And this is exactly what we go through. I gave you guys a full list. So let's jump into first planning your week life edition. So the first thing you're going to do is sit down and get out your calendars. Oh my gosh, I'm kicking my lamp over here. Get out your calendars. We use Google Calendar, and we'll go through our whole week, our schedules. So what is my work schedule? What is his work schedule? What meetings do we have? Is there any late nights that someone's working? Early mornings, we'll go through and map out our entire week. Who's working, when they're working, what are their hours, when do they need the other partner? And then we'll go through, are there any future trips? Meaning like my husband travels for work. So do you have any upcoming trips? Do you have any late nights? Do you have any weekends that are coming up or anything you want to put on the schedule? I always ask this every Sunday because then I can plan ahead of time versus if we planned it on a Sunday and then he's going to go out of town on a Tuesday, that could throw off our whole week, right? So I'll always ask like future planning, is there anything outside of like your normal hours, normal-ish hours, right? Because of his job is not like a 9 to 5, like a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 type job. We have to go through and map out that specifically because we have kids, right? Because then we have to know how we work the kid schedule, which then brings me to my next category, which is kids. So we decide who's going to get up in the mornings with the kids. We alternate who takes the morning shift. We have a 1-year-old and an 8-year-old. So obviously our 8-year-old gets up and gets herself ready for the day. She does an online homeschool. And then our toddler has to be gotten up and she has to get ready. We get her up, change her, milk, all that kind of stuff. And so whoever is going to take morning shift then gets up with the kids, gets them ready, milk, possibly breakfast for the day. And we put on the schedule who's doing that. So then the other person knows if you're not morning shift with the kids, I sometimes will get up early and work. Sometimes I'll sleep in, but it's my morning to have to myself, essentially. And then we'll talk about who's responsible for lunches, dinners, afternoons, evening shifts. This is just like what works for us. If we're both home, we typically will do it together. My husband will get home between 2 and 3 p.m. in the afternoons. Typically, he'll take the kids down to the gym. We have a gym in our basement. He'll work out. That's like my free time. So then I'll have a couple hours of like free time for self-care, myself, and or work. And we'll do dinner and bedtime together almost always. Now, again, if he's working nights or I have something going on, then the other person would take night shift. But it's easier to just put it on the calendar so we know exactly what to do and expect. And there's not weird expectations of one another because we just know who's taking care of what. The next thing is self-care and personal time. So we'll go through and decide, okay, does either one of us have or want solo time? Go out with your friends, dinner with your friends, just time to yourself in general. And when do we have individual therapy? We both do therapy. He'll put that on the schedule and or some kind of self-care. Typically, I do mine on Sundays. He's almost always home on Sundays. So he'll watch football, hang out with the kids, and I'll just go do my self-care. And then we plan date nights. So one time a week, we do date night every single week and we rotate whose turn it is. So he just had last week. So then today's Sunday, I'll be for this week. I'll pick a day, I'll pick what we do. Because we don't have a lot of friends and family close to keep our kids, we just do them at home. It's cheaper. We put the kids to bed and then we do date night. And then the last thing we cover is accomplishments. So what did we do individually that worked really well this week? What did we do as a couple that went really well this week? And then how can we improve for future weeks? And we write it down. So the next part, what you're going to do is you're going to calendar in everything we just talked about. Obviously, if you don't have kids, a partner, whatever, you don't have to calendar that. But calendaring as much as you possibly can, grocery pickups, even laundry, dishes, household stuff. So we'll get into that too. Then we go into meal prep and planning. So deciding what are we going to eat for this week? What groceries do we need to buy? Put that on the calendar. What meals are you going to make? That makes taking off such mental load off your brain helps so much because if you're like me, I hate deciding what's for dinner. Like I literally hate it. I use Michaela Thomas Fit. She's on Instagram. And I have her cookbook and then we'll do like crock pot meals, grill meals, basically anything to make it easy. And then we try to stick to a budget. So planning out your meals will help you throughout the week. Just know what to expect. And then we go through household responsibilities. So laundry, dishes, dishwasher, cooking, vacuuming, dusting, mops, toilets, etc. Whose responsibility is what? So like for instance, the trash is always my husband's responsibility. That will never be my responsibility. And then like toilets are almost always my responsibility and mopping floors. And then we'll take turns with vacuuming, dishes, cooking, etc. But we decide for the most part who's going to do what. Again, this helps with taking off the mental load and this weird expectation of who's doing what is this week I'm in charge of this, he's in charge of that, and then we just do it. And it allows us to have an easier time together. And then date nights. So I put in here a couple of my favorite things that we've done so far for date night. I love date nights. They're like, I get to look forward to it for the week. It's bonding time. We spend time together every night when the kids go to bed, but to plan something special is really fun. So my favorite things have been like cooking dinner after the kids go to bed. So we feed the kids and then put them to bed and then we'll cook and eat together separately. And then we can just like talk and sit and eat and we don't have to like chase kids during that period. And then playing card games, movie night, but making it fun with like a bed space and snacks. Couples cards and trivia. So like asking each other questions, getting to know each other even better. We did trivia recently to like how well we knew each other, which was fun. And then we did a paint and sip one night, which was really fun too. Okay, and then I get into my business. So once I've done life planning, I go to business planning. So with business planning, the first thing I do is reflect on the week prior. How well did I do during the week? Did I follow through on the things I said I wanted to do or finish or accomplish? How can I be better at doing those things? How can I be better at following through and hitting my goals? What can I do better? And then I set up expectations and intentions for the next week of like, here's one or two things I really want to make sure I finish this week. Then I will go through and set up my office hours on my calendar, which is when am I going to Slack coach my clients, maybe work with team or wrap up any projects. Connection sales, anything that I need to do as far as office hours that's not actual meetings and coaching calls, I will then put that on my calendar and I will usually put at least 1 2 hour block, which is just to do work. So that would be like phone off, not talking to anyone, just like sitting and finishing a project. And then mapping out lead generation sales and how I can move the needle in my business. I put all of it on my calendar and then I have to follow through and do those things. I set up my calendar for 3 weeks or The first 3 weeks of the month are coaching. So I have coaching calls for 2 to 3 hours a week on average. And then I go and do Slack and office hours. And then the last week of the month, I take no coaching calls. I try to do no meetings if possible. So if I want to host a live event, it would always be the last week of the month. Or if I just want time off, it will be the last week of the month. Or if I need to finish projects or record content, it would be the last week of the month because I take off from coaching calls. So I have a full 10 hours to just work on my business. Then I do something called Monday Hour One, Friday Hour Done. I teach this to all my clients. It is a game changer. Again, doing this either on Sunday or Monday, whenever you start your week, and doing a full brain dump. Now, I'm a paper pen kind of girl, so I'll get out my notebook, a pen, and I will just write as much as I possibly can write on that piece of paper. I will write it down and get everything out of my brain. This could be like, I want to write a book in 3 weeks. Don't forget trash bags. Someone's birthday is this week, but literally getting every single thought out of my brain. And then anything I need to will go on my calendar. So if this means I remembered so-and-so's birthdays a month from now, I'll put on my calendar, don't forget to buy so-and-so a gift. Or if I'm like, I want to start a podcast, I want to write a book, then maybe I would put that on my calendar for months from now. But regardless, picking a place for every single item and putting it somewhere out of your brain creates so much space for your brain for creativity. And then the next part is to committing. So actually committing each week to what you've scheduled in your calendar and doing it. No rescheduling, no canceling, or just not deciding to do the thing because it's hard or you don't want to when the day comes. You have to follow through. The only exception to this is like if someone were to die or like be sick and you like literally can't work, like an actual emergency, but otherwise follow through on your schedule and your to-do list and you will get so much done. Really challenge yourself to push yourself through what you don't want to do. Then I put in here a place to brain dump, a place to calendar, and then what you're going to commit to each week or each day, whatever you decide. And then we get into the fun part, which is self-care. So I put a little fun exercise on here for you. If you're not already doing this, I would take time to sit down and develop future you. So who is future you? How does she dress? How does she act? How does she make decisions? How does she show up for her life? How does she show up for her business, her family, her finances? What's your morning routine, your night routine? Like putting everything on here for developing future you so that we can create a plan of how you get closer to that version of you, next level you, six-figure you, whatever you want to call it. Because when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you act different. When you act different, your reality will completely change. So I put on this download like a little checklist for you of what to go through to make yourself look and feel good. And this can look different for everybody. So the first thing I would do once I did that is decide. So I make a vision board. I usually go to Pinterest and I collect ideas like hairstyles, outfits, makeup looks, skincare, nails, like what is this version of me that I want to embody? And then I go learn. So YouTube, TikTok, there's lots of places where you can go and learn. How do I do my hair like this? How do I do my makeup like this? How do I tan at home? How do I do lashes at home? Like anything that will make you feel good. And don't let anyone tell you that like you shouldn't do those things for yourself if you don't want to. And obviously you can schedule those appointments and go do them. Maybe it's a massage. Like what can you do to make you feel better, to take care of your body mentally, physically, emotionally? This could be supplements, sleep, red light therapy, journaling, meditation, yoga, Pilates, anything to make you feel good, look good, feel good. And then we're going to implement. So on Sundays, after I've done that, my implementation would be like doing my nails, which I need to do, or tanning, or my eyebrows, coloring my hair, like anything to make me feel better. And then I put a link to my Amazon storefront on here and you can shop my list. And I have, let's see, I have Bougie on a Budget, which is like jewelry and stuff to like look glam, but obviously on a budget. I put outfits, my favorite books are on here. I have a skincare. You have a skincare, mindset, self-care category. I have a nail category, jewelry category, tanning, makeup. Like I have everything on here for you. So you can shop that entire category on there. Let's get back to where we were. And then we're going to move into, one more thing on here is I put your vision board. So if you have not yet, I would create a vision board for how you are going to become your next level self. But then I would track it every week of like, how well am I following through on the things I wanted to when it comes to my health, my family, my money, my career, hobbies, travels, or relationships, whatever those categories are. are you actually breaking those down into bite-sized goals? And are you going after them and creating habits around these places? And then how well are you doing that every single week? And then we go to finances. So being a breadwinner, being in your breadwinner energy is about being a woman who owns her story around money, who makes a lot of money and is comfortable with the topic of money. So even if you're not making a lot of money yet, how do you plan to make a lot of money? What's holding you back from making a lot of money? I put a list on here of things I would journal through to move forward with any money blocks maybe that I have, because when women make a lot of money, we change the world. And so I would also go over to my Instagram at it's Tay Daniels _ LLC. I would tap on my Reels page, and the first video it's pinned is a live training that I did. It's like 40 minutes long, but it's good. But it's all about what is blocking your money and how to unblock whatever blocks you have around money. So go over and watch that, go through this section, and then I put on here a monthly budget, or you can even do weekly. But how are we budgeting our money? Because the closer and cozier you get with money, the better. This is my complete guide for Sunday service. It will change your life. The document is down below. It's completely free. I hope this was super helpful. Get out there and start planning your weeks. And I hope you guys have a fabulous week.